Well, good morning everybody, welcome back to Hammers About. My name is James and today we're going for another little adventure. Today and in a couple of days I'm going to be taking two flights, both with Wizz Air, and we're going to be comparing their new aircraft, their Airbus A321 Neos, with their older fleet of Airbus A321-200 series aircraft. Now today we'll be taking a flight on their older generation -200 from here in London Luton, as you can see from the beautiful sights. But we're going to be taking a flight from here in Luton over to the Polish city of Gdansk. Now my flight is in around an hour and a half I believe, so I need to go and get airside just to make sure that we don't miss the flight, because I have done that before and I don't want to do that again because it is quite embarrassing. So let's go and get airside. Come along with me and we'll see what Wizz Air has to offer. So now, today it really is a battle of the old versus new for Wizz Air. So today I'm taking a flight with their Airbus A321-200 series aircraft, and then in a couple of days I'll be flying back on one of their newer Airbus A321 Neo aircraft. Now, to do a comparison of the both, I've come with 4 separate categories, which I'll be awarding 5 points for both in: the seat comfort, the leg room, the overhead luggage cabin space, and the overall cabin sound ambience atmosphere, you know what I mean. Because in theory, some of the aircraft should be more spacious and more quiet than the other ones. So it'll be interesting to see if that's actually the case. Now, one slight thing that may plague today's video is I didn't select a seat on board today's flight because I'm not paying for that on my budget. I think the minimum price you can pay on Wizz Air is about £13 for a seat, and I'm not paying that.
I'm not paying 13 quid. No.
However, when I looked last night, I've not checked today, the seat map did show quite a few empty seats still available, so I'm fingers crossed there is a whole row available. So if I wait until everyone else is boarding and be one of the last few people on board the plane, and hopefully I can just slip into an empty row and I can get some much better camera shots for the video. Now, I think my flight's gate has just popped up on the screen over there, so let's go to the gate. Well, welcome on board the Wizz Air Airbus A321-200 series aircraft. Now, my tactic worked. I was the last on board, and look at this. Whole last row 3. 3, not 3. We are actually on row 2, which is quite good. So, I believe I'm going to get comfortable. We're going to push back, take off. I'll give you a little show around the seats, what Wizz Air has to offer on their Airbus A321-200 series aircraft. We pushed back from the gate bang on time and started taxiing out through Luton Airport, heading over to runway 07, ready for our takeoff to Gdansk this morning. our way to Gdansk. It's time we have a look around our seat, and the first thing you can tell these are definitely the old ones, as if you look here, the armrests, they are looking a bit tired, which is obviously why Wizz Air are replacing these with the soon to be seen in this video A321 Neos. Now, these aircraft do have different seats actually to the Neos, which you will see later on. So these seats kind of like curve in like that. It's more of like for an ergonomic kind of design, and they're comfy enough. I mean, it makes your back kind of stick out. I feel like I'm kind of having to sit like that. I don't know. Apart from that, they're alright. Decently padded at the front and back, so I think for a 1 hour and 50-minute flight such as the one we're on today, it's not too bad. And also, we've got the little seat pocket here in front of you, which has got all your literature, safety card and everything in. We do have the leg room, which isn't too bad. That's not too bad leg room. One thing I do like about these planes, zoom out, is these tray tables in these aircraft. So, because these planes have these seats, it's almost like they're built into the seat. So it is absolutely perfect for putting your phone. These are the only aircraft seats I have flown on that are absolutely perfectly designed for your phone to sit on to watch stuff, which I will be doing so very shortly. After settling into the flight, before I knew it, we were already descending over the beautiful city of Gdansk and lined up for our approach on runway 29 after a fairly comfortable flight on the Airbus A321-200. Now, today's flight with Wizz Air cost me just £27, making this flight a cost of 0.3 pence per mile. And here we are finally in Gdansk, Poland. And with that brings a close to the A321-200 series aircraft portion of this video. Now I'm going to head off into town on the train just from the station up there. As over the next couple of days while I'm in Poland, I'm going to be filming a few more videos while I'm here. So make sure you do click that subscribe button not to miss any videos coming out on the channel in the next few weeks of my Polish adventure. Now that is about enough from me here in Gdansk. Now I'm going to pass myself over to myself in Poznan, ready for the flight back home to London Luton Airport on the Airbus A321 Neo. So I will see you in Poznan. Thank you very much, Gdansk James. Now I am here finally at Poznan Airport on the complete other side of Poland, ready for my flight back to Luton today, once again with Wizz Air. However, we are on one of their newer aircraft, the Airbus A321 Neo. Now I need to go and get inside because I'm already cutting it quite short for my flight today back to Luton. So I need to go and get inside, let's get on board and let's see the differences between the two aircraft that we've been flying on in this video. And at the end, we'll do a big summary, toss up the scores, and we'll see which one comes out on top. Come on. And here we are, finally airside in Poznan Airport. That took a while. The airport's going through a bit of a redevelopment at the moment, it would seem. So half of the security was all shut, so we were all kind of funneled through just 2 security lanes. And there's maybe about 5 or 6 flights going, so that took quite a while. My plane's just pulled up. Don't you can just see it just there through the glare of the sun. So I'm not going to dilly-dally around in the airport now. Let's get on board. You know the score. So come on, let's go and get on board. Well, here we are, everybody. We are finally on the Wizz Air Airbus A321 Neo. Now, this is a turn up for the books because these aren't the seats I was expecting. I've flown a lot of these aircraft and they have some seats, I don't know who makes them, but these are completely different. These seem like brand new Recaro seats. So, they seem to have maybe updated the cabin, which could swing things in the favour of the A321 Neo. Well, we're going to push back in a minute, and there'll be time to find out, have a look around our seat, and see what the cabin experience on board the Wizz Air A321 Neo is, and compare it back to the 200. We once again pushed back right on time with a very punctual Wizz Air before we slowly taxied along and lined up for our takeoff today from runway 10. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally taken off and we are now airborne out of Poznan on the Wizz Air Airbus A321 Neo. Now I did a little research just before we took off, and the reason why this is such a new cabin is because it's such a new plane. This aircraft is just over 1 year old for Wizz Air, so in the challenge of old versus new, this is like as new as you can get for Wizz Air, so this really will be a test to see what is better, the old or the very brand new. Now as well on this flight I do unfortunately have a full row of people next to me, which means it is going to be a little bit awkward trying to film the seat, but we'll give it a go, and I think it's about time I showed you around and compare this seat to the one on the A321-200. Here's what we have in front of us on board the flight today on the Neo. We have this nice tray table which is once again built into the seat, which does fold down. That's quite a large enough table. There's my hand for reference, cup holder, and it does also pull out, giving you extra room so you could fit a large laptop on there, which is good if you want to get any work done. However, the issue here with the legroom is I'm sat as far back as I can upright, and I can barely squeeze my finger in between my legs and the seat. Now, for reference, I'm 5'10", so if you're anything taller than that, you're really going to have an uncomfortable journey on here. We do also have a seat pocket, which does drop down all the way like that. With your safety card, reading literature, it's all the same. Also on each one of these seats on the left hand side there is a little individual coat hook, and then we all have our own armrests, which don't look as tired as the one on the 200, and they are very large. Not too wide, but I think that's alright. If you've been on some of Wizz's other A321 Neos, they are smaller than this, so this is definitely an improvement on those. So that's a decent sized armrest, to be honest. Now for the actual seat itself, I can't really show you much because of people. So I'll try and get a clip of it when it's all empty, when we're getting off the plane at the end. However, it's not that comfortable, if I'm being honest. The bum area at the bottom is quite hard. It's like quite padded where at the bottom of your legs, but where your bum is, it feels like there's something underneath the padding which is making it really hard. And the seat itself at the top here is very well padded, that's quite nice. But the main bit that goes right down the middle, down your spine, that feels like there's no padding at all. It feels like they've padded the sides and then the middle they've just put a strip of leather from the seat cover. And it's doing a number on my spine, I'm telling you that now. Now this is only a 2-hour flight for me today, so I think it will just about do. But it's really not that comfortable. And some of these Neos do flights like nearly 6 hours long. I don't think I'd want to be in this seat for that long. It would be really uncomfortable. I'd have to get up and keep walking around every 10 minutes. Once again, I settled down as we flew over Northern Europe, and before long we were already making our way down into a grey and gloomy Luton as we lined up for our approach on runway 07, and I couldn't wait to land at this point as my seat had my back in absolute ruins. Well, there we go, guys. That concludes my flight on the Wizz Air Airbus A321 Neo and the Wizz Air Airbus A321-200 series. Now, that wasn't the greatest journey. It was like a smooth ride on the plane, but the seat was really hard bum area, really hard on the back. The only bit that was seen padded was where your head would go. So it's done a number on my spine, that one. Now I need to get home. It's quite a long drive for me back from Luton, which is so fun after a long day of travelling. So I'm going to meet you all back when I get back home. We're going to add up the scores from both of the flights that we have been on in this video, and we'll see which one is the winner. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am finally back home from my long flight over from Poland, and it is now time for the part of this video you've all been waiting for. It is time to reveal the scores on the doors. Now, category number 1, we're going to do the overhead luggage compartment space. Now, I'm going to give both of these aircraft the exact same score here. They will both receive a 4 out of 5, as they both had the same overhead luggage compartment space. They were big enough for the flight. They're not the biggest ones, but obviously it's not a massive aircraft. But for the type of flight and the type of aircraft, I think they were big enough and did just a good enough job. Now the next category is going to be the overall cabin atmosphere, how quiet it was, how nice and bright and airy the cabin was, the whole ambience of the thing. Now the 200 is going to score a 3 out of 5 for this one. And the Neo is going to just take this one with a 4 out of 5. Now the 200 does lose points in this category for having slightly louder cabin with the more loud engines and the sound projecting into the cabin, and also being a bit darker inside. Whereas the Neo, with its much more new, brighter cabin, nicer atmosphere in there, and the much quieter engines on that aircraft, even though I was sat behind the engines on the Neo, it was so much more quieter, meaning it was such a nice atmosphere in the cabin on the Neo. So the Neo just takes it in the category for cabin atmosphere. Now the next category is going to be the seat comfort. Now the A321-200 is going to be awarded a 3 out of 5 on this one, and the Neo is only going to be awarded 1. That's right, a 1 out of 5 for the Neo on the seat comfort category. The 200 wins this because it was a more comfortable seat. It wasn't the most comfortable seat, being arched in kind of like that. So I was sat like that most of the time, but it was padded a lot more. whereas the seat on the A321neo, never again, never again. I need to go to the chiropractors to sort my back out after that flight. And the last category that we're scoring is going to be the legroom on board both aircraft. Now the A321-200 is going to score a 3 out of 5, and the Neo is going to score a measly half a point on this one. That's right, just half, not even 1. Now I'm basing this on the amount of fingers that I could fit in between my knee and the back of the seat in front, which I could fit 3, maybe 4 at a push, but I don't want to give it too high of a score because it wasn't that great, the legroom on the 200, but it was ample for the length of the flight, whereas the Neo sat all the way back. I couldn't even fit 1 index finger in the gap between my knee and the seat in front of me. So if I was on that flight for any more than maybe the 2 hours, or if I was any taller than 5'10", I would really not be having a good time. So 3 for the 200 and just half a point for the Neo. Now that does mean that our final scores are in. The Airbus A321-200 will take home a score of 13 out of 20, and the Neo will take home a score of 9.5. So that is a win for the Airbus A321-200 operated by Wizz Air today, because the Neo, yes, it's a nicer inside, it's brighter, it's more modern and a quieter aircraft. It is let down by its lack of comfort and legroom on board, which are a lot more important to passengers, especially with them Neos doing nearly 6-hour flights. And if Wizz Air's new Neo XLRs are anything like that inside, I would hate to be on a flight of that length using those aircraft. So that's the end of this video now. It is a win for the Airbus A321-200. If you have stuck around this long, I would just like to say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As well, I was in Poland, I did film a range of other videos, which will be coming out on the channel in the next couple of weeks. So once again, thank you very much for watching if you have made it this far, and I will see you all on the next one. Thanks for watching.